Dear USA, all nations and 7.9 plus billions of humans, I just want to have this as a generic civil justice sign off. Whatever I want for the civil justice, for I am displaying the USA government errors, public sector errors, private sector errors, and how USA government operations got destroyed, and for displaying the absolute monarchs scandal. I, Vethapriya PROSE, wanted these civil justice to be provided to me. Okay, so I'll just read the sign off so that it will be in all these other sessions. Okay, so for I, Vethapriya PROSE, native Indian tribe, Christian Jew of Israel, Judah, Jerusalem, and true owner of USA, and proved USA is Tamil Nadu, and I, Vethapriya PROSE, have highest impasse eligibility to lead USA. I must be the interim leader of USA now is civil justice served. And for I, Vethapriya PROSE, displayed USA government errors and the scandal of absolute monarchs to USA government. I, Vethapriya PROSE, for civil justice as in Holy Bible guidelines. I, Vethapriya PROSE, want United States of America nation to rename Lord Ripon Building in Tamil Nadu, India, after my name Vethapriya is civil justice served. And I, Vethapriya PROSE, to become the Vatican leader now is civil justice served. And Pope Francis resigns abruptly now is civil justice served. And I, Vethapriya PROSE, become Supreme Chief Civil Judge for all nations, now is civil justice served. And I, Vethapriya PROSE, become Supreme Chief Family Law and Supreme Chief Children Judge for all nations is civil justice served. And I, Vethapriya PROSE, to become Global Poverty Relief Medical Director Chief for all nations, to lead and guide World Bank, United Nations organizations, World Health Organizations, Center for Disease Control, Department of Children Families, Department of Health Services, Department of Justice, Department of Revenue, Department of Agriculture, Department of Imports Export, Department of Military in all nations across the globe is civil justice served. And I, Vethapriya PROSE, to be the ambassador for all nations, starting with India, and I, Vethapriya PROSE, should get dual citizenship of USA and India now is civil justice served. And thank you all for your time. Take care, my dear fellow mankind. I sure will get civil justice for entire human kingdom in 1 minute. Thank you all for your time. Bye for now. USA, all nations is 7.9 plus billions of humans. I hope we are all on the same page on this regard, that I'm providing civil justice, very crucial, important civil justice for myself, and it's a multitasking. Now, what is this session is all about? It is all about utility. Yes, my dear fellow mankind, we this couple of sessions, which we are, though it's a longer sessions, I've been providing an education on the public's birthright. They need to know how the transactions, behind the scenes transactions are going on, the moment, what transactions are going on, the moment they are going to swipe the credit card. Okay, so we all saw the credit card tax fraud and debit card tax fraud and the Europay, MasterCard, Visa card, that golden chip tax fraud, right? Then Coinstar, that gives a machine where we can trade in the gift cards or the debit cards for the cash. Then that's a tax fraud, right? And then I also educated about what are the behind the scenes, that the software transactions going on, the underwriting, how the underwriting works, how the claims process works, how the payables, account payables, billing, the receivables and the collections agency and the credit card core, and how the rate engine works, all these, no? And then I educated what without internet these transactions cannot be even provided. So that means when there is no internet in Walmart or Target or Amazon or a banking facility, these transactions cannot be completed. Now, okay, this is one part, but these are all coming under the tax fraud crime 1, tax fraud crime 2, like that. So are you all counting all the crimes which I'm displaying? And I said what? all the crimes must be accumulated and thrown on the face of Pope Francis, right? Because it is he who created all this crap to the population. And it is enough more. For how long the governments will keep on fooling the population, and the years are going, the generations are lost, right? The younger generation become old and the old generation die. For how long this kind of a crime that population have to live with? It's not, right? It's not right. Right? At least when I provide all the design solutions, that is the youngest generation can start to live. Don't y'all think so? They can take the torch of legacy, whatever I provide for an excellent design solution for a foundation. They can move on and they can still start building on top of it. I have to provide the foundation stone here. Everything is destroyed. So why on the earth people are not allowing me to provide that healthy solutions? Because fools want to be fools, right? Fools want to be always fools. It is known worldwide. That is why the wisest will allow the fools to be fools, and they will even back off from the fools. At one point of time when the tolerance is gone, right? So what this session is all about, you all might have had a quick guess, if at all. Otherwise, I would anyway say it. It is utility. So that means what? Without power, without that energy provided to Walmart facility, all this crime cannot be even created. So don't you all think, do we even need that power? It's because of that power only all this hell is created, right? The internet scam, the robocall scam, the cyber attack scam, the war crime, the gasoline crime, all welfare crime, right? What if we take down the power? Yeah, we all households will not have any power, any more power anymore. That is how this Pope Francis mandated everything to be on a dependent mode. Got it? How Pope Francis destroyed every single thing? Yes, my dear fellow mankind. I do not even want to waste more time on talking about what is energy, because I already educated in earlier sessions. If you all wanted, go refer it my earlier sessions. Right. So this particular session is all about what? Without having healthy power, healthy electricity, healthy gasoline, healthy gas, natural gas, healthy water, Walmart cannot even operate. If I switch off the power board, Walmart will be gone. They'll freak out because their business will be gone. I already said, 1 second business is not provided, they will freak out and they will die in heart attack. The Walmart, Amazon, like that. Because it is going to directly impact where? Stock exchange. Right? So can you all see how he created a destruction in a very minute level, and how people were not able to understand it, and how easily it is educated population who overlooked it. It happens always, all the time, for everybody, right? How many times people must have read that God created man in Holy Bible? You're going to go ask any adult Christian population worldwide, they'll be saying right from toddler's age, right from the Sunday school, right from the Christian youth group, church, Sunday schools, what not, the fellowship, the gathering, they have been reading that same one sentence. Why? People never got the hidden message behind it. Why? It is Pope Francis who destroyed everybody's life, my dear fellow mankind. He not only created hell for me alone, he created hell for each and every single civilian worldwide. Regardless of age groups, regardless of educated, regardless of not educated, regardless of employed, regardless of not employed, regardless of married, regardless of not married, regardless of single parents, regardless of widowers, regardless of divorced single parents. regardless of domestic partners, regardless of LGBTQ, regardless of polygamy, regardless of arranged marriage, regardless of forced arranged marriage, regardless of child marriage, regardless of love marriage. What not for a crime? He created all havoc, regardless of religious abuse. Christians fighting with Islam, Islam fighting with Hinduism, Hinduism fighting with atheism, on and on is a circle of loop. And in all these people are fighting and killing on each other, it is the Queen Elizabeth II and Pope Francis drinking the blood of the people every single second, every day, forever. This scandal must be stopped. Don't you all think so? Imagine a world without these absolute monarchs, prostitutes. How heaven it would be. All these broken things can be fixed, right? At least we can provide a pathway, a pavement for the younger generation. Take the torch of the legacy and start running, and then building the nations with whatever foundation stone I'm going to provide, isn't it? When nobody stood up and displayed all this crime, I'm displaying all this crime, then at least they can give me that authority to provide that design solutions. Everything is there. Design solutions is there. Whatever that needs to be done for step 1 process is already done. Step 2, step 3 of design phase 2, 3 must be done, means we are all ready in that target to achieve that poverty-free earth by end of the year 2030 volunteer project. President Joe Biden must resign immediately. No other go. I heard from the news that gas and electric and utility and water company in the state of Texas filed for bankruptcy. They knew the God's power, isn't it? Worldwide is fearing that because of that only God's Holy Spirit took over. Evil spirit, like evil force like Queen Elizabeth II and Pope Francis, they thought they can get away free with all the crime they can create with the criminal law. They only created criminal law. Right. They are going to pay the price today. It's payback time. It's a refunding time. It's a USA going to puke the tax collections they unjustly collected from the population time. It's a population time. It's a consumer rights time. It's a consumer law time. And I stand in front of 7.9 plus billions of humans. I chop the head of Pope Francis and I get civil justice my way for all the population worldwide. Count by count, 1 minute is enough. Yes, my dear fellow mankind, a civilian should know how on the earth a civilian can even swipe the card at the first place, right? To swipe the card at the first place, that swiping machine must be connected to the power supply in the Walmart. And the cash counter computer must be connected to the power supply in the Walmart. And the billing that provides that billing that sale, the grocery bill, that must be connected to the power supply. If there is no power, Walmart will not be there at the first place. So civilians cannot even get basic essentials without power. So that means the basic essential utility must be provided. So that means even if I say, if I shut down the power supply, Amazon will go mad. If I shut down the power supply right now, all the banking sectors, Associated Bank will die out of heart attack. For them, every second dollar creating is what it makes Associated Bank to live. Survival mode, the stock exchange mode, and the bank, they run hand in hand. If either one of them is not working, they will die. It's the stock exchange, they fears me, my dear fellow mankind. I don't know anything about how that stocks and the bonds work, but on the highest level, I hammered the nail on the forehead of New York Stock Exchange and directly traced that to that Italic Stock Exchange, and that directly says London Stock Exchange, and that directly traces to Pope Francis and Queen Elizabeth II. They created all this kind of a tax fraud only to destroy holy marriage law, true love, nothing else. So there is more crime, which I'm going to reveal in the next few sections, but we have to, next few sessions means not immediately, but it'll take time because there is more crime to be you all to know, right? It's all how innocent civilians' consumer birthrights have been stripped off by force without awareness of civilians. We all were thinking we have to pay the tax for utility. Right, we all were thinking we have to pay tax for the internet. So the Pope Francis destroyed the human brains and the government brains that nations have to pay tax. No, people should not be paying any tax of any form. And that is the one I was educating, and right after that week they created that robocall poverty mandate to me. So what if there was not power in that apartment where I was living? Then they would not have taken that $4,005 from me in a unhealthy way. Brett Kavanaugh would not even created that robocall for me, and President Trump and the federal agency would not even track down me using that President Alert message at the first place, isn't it? When the power is shut down everywhere, then this robocall poverty mandate would not have been provided to me. For how long you all want me to tolerate all this injustice? Why? When people don't know what is human, people don't know whether I'm human or not, I should step in and educate all the educated fools that, hey, I am human. Please do not hurt me like that. And for that, I am asking USA to pay me $1,500 trillion. That means nobody will dare to hurt me anymore. Right? Nobody will dare to hurt me anymore. I'm had enough of all this hurt feelings. If my people loves hurt, let them hurt each other. If Queen Elizabeth wants to hurt, let her go hurt her grandson, great-grandson, and other ladies in her families. Who is she to come and hurt me? Right? Who is Pope Francis? If Pope Francis wants to loves hurting, let him go and hurt his mom or his siblings or his family members. Right? Why even he have to bother to hurt me? What did I do to them? I did nothing. Then who are they? Who are they to hurt me? And the hell Pope Francis created to me is deadliest, and I will not leave him alone. No. The people will see how evil will be gone in ashes by a true woman. A true woman is enough to destroy evil in ashes, and people will witness it. It's happening right now. Right. I'm the true woman, and Pope Francis is a prostitute. Enough. I'm providing hint and clue. You all keep working on who am I. Pope Francis is a prostitute, and I'm a true woman. He made one mistake. He created hell for me, and that is a mistake Pope Francis did. If he was creating hell for every other people, then he would have been living free only. But he created hell for me, and that is the only mistake Pope Francis and Queen Elizabeth and all the absolute monarchs did. Enough for them to be thrown in ashes. No, nobody is going to help them. If people want Pope Francis to live, I already said, I will give only one option. They can either live with Pope Francis, die in the volcano, or they have to live with a heavy paying tax free, because there is innocence in them. They don't know what they're doing. They don't know what they're saying. Right? Even if they spit on my face, I will stand in front of them only. I already educated. Right? It's a basic birthright, my dear fellow mankind. We should be getting drinking water free. We should be getting heater, utility, gasoline, everything free. We never knew, isn't it? Okay, we are paying tax for everything. Then why on the earth there is air pollution? See, can you see how I choked on the throat of Pope Francis and I kept the knife on the neck of the Pope Francis? He is not going to move here and there. I choked his throat, isn't it? If people are paying all this kind of tax for the utility, why on the earth there is air pollution? Can you see why Benz and Ford and all those vehicle manufacturing companies worldwide have fallen down in knees and will be begging me to take their vehicles free? Can you all get it? Air pollution. If we are paying tax for utility, there should never be any air pollution. There should never be any global warming. And see how I chopped the head of Queen Elizabeth II, because she created all this havoc, isn't it? She created the wars to create air pollution. She created the war crimes to create the earthquakes and tsunamis and wildfires. Right? She is the one who created all these natural disasters. And federal insurance company called FEMA, they got choked up whenever the house got sinked in the flood. They were not able to provide new housing for those people. And how many people got tortured in Louisiana because it's a neglected state, because the Roman Province Justice Organization headquartered in Louisiana. And they mandated that help should never be provided to the African Americans in Louisiana, in Missouri, in Michigan, what not. And Detroit became a bankrupted nation because all the automobiles went to Tamil Nadu, and to pollute the water, the clean water in Tamil Nadu, and tax fraud here, tax fraud there, tax fraud everywhere. For Tamil Nadu, they were thinking, they were got fooled that, oh, how the Ford and all the companies are coming to the Tamil Nadu, but they never know all the tax scandal that's going on behind them, and how on the earth I choked on the throat of Pope Francis. Right. When I choked on the throat of the Pope Francis and I kept knife on the throat of Pope Francis, President Joe Biden will dare not be president anymore in the USA. He should resign now and get out to the Delaware. This is a discipline. When I keep knife on the Pope Francis, President Joe Biden must resign and run to the Delaware. No other go. He's already in the jail mode, right? I'm saying even in that mode, okay, it's okay. Just run without turning back. Don't even talk to anybody. Run to Delaware. The crime is so deadliest. I kept knife on the throat of the Pope Francis, and I choked the throat of Pope Francis now. Nobody will ask me why. No. The Nestle provided the drinking water costly, and the tax dollars out of that, Pope Francis was eating it. Nobody knew, isn't it? So that is why I kept the knife on the throat and I choked the throat of the Pope Francis, and he will puke all the tax dollars he ate that was rightly belonged to the population. He destroyed the consumer rights of population. He cannot live free. I will not allow him to live free. No. No, nobody can dare to ask me. I will see, go refer the Holy Bible. It is right there. Angel will be born from the east and will keep the knife on the neck of the dragon who deceived all the national operations, and will throw that dragon in the lake of fire. So I freezed all the national operations, all the cops and all the police, all the Federal Bureau, all the CIA, all are hiding behind me only. They are all providing me the pathway to provide the discipline the rightful way. I kept knife on the neck of the Pope Francis. He will resign from the Vatican immediately. President Joe Biden will run away from White House and be gone in Delaware. People will be wondering, oh, only pet animals only went to Delaware. Oh, even President Joe Biden also gone to the Delaware? Like that. Utility tax for crime. Drop by drop. I have the count of each drop of water. I already said. Atlantic Ocean, I have the count. I have the count of Pacific Ocean. I have the count of Indian Ocean. Oh, there is deadliest crime behind every single thing. I choked the throat of the Pope Francis and kept knife on his neck. He should resign now, immediately. The prostitute. And worldwide people knew a true woman only can burn Queen Elizabeth II in ashes. And that is why worldwide was praying for true love, true woman to be born. I am born. Enough for Queen Elizabeth II. She created all these wars just because I should not be born. Got it? Why all the war crimes? Why 700 years old of Roman and Persia war? Nobody knew, isn't it? Why Russia, Crimea and Ukraine war? Why Syria, Gaza, Palestine war? Why Islam nations war? Why civil war? Why native Indian tribes got butchered worldwide? Nobody knew. Why genocide? Why war in Sri Lanka? Why war in Burma? Why war in Pakistan? Why war in Bangladesh? Why war in Australia, New Zealand, Philippines, Laos, Taiwan, Thailand, whatnot, Cambodia, Vietnam, Madagascar, African nations, South American nations, Mexico wars, right? Nobody knew why. Confederate wars, right? Confederate wars. They were all not trained as to be the military, but they all picked and chose the household people, the random people became soldiers, and they fought that war, the Confederate Wars, against the Queen Elizabeth II, the prostitute. Why? Nobody knew why wars, right? How many people shed their blood and must have been saying the word, the last word of prayer to God, and how that blood alone became national flags in each nation. It is because of their death alone we people are living right now, right? How? Why? They all were shedding their tears and praying, please God, dear God, please, please, please send a true love, a true woman, and free all these nations, God. Dear God, this is what everybody should have prayed worldwide, and those innocent prayers is answered right now, right? I kept the knife on the neck of Pope Francis. Nobody will dare to ask me why. State of Wisconsin must pay $500 billion to me for all this damages done by state of Wisconsin, right? I never asked state of Wisconsin to sign injustice to me. It's their choice. So when it is their choice, they have to take the responsibility, they have to take the accountability, and they have to pay me $500 billion, and I want it only tax-free. For how long? Well, I can tolerate this disaster. No, I cannot. If Dr. Fauci and Dr. Brinks can be so evil, they should know how cleanest heart is the sharpest tool that can burn the evil in ashes. They are evil, and I burned them in ashes, isn't it? When I kept the knife on the neck of the Pope Francis, Dr. Fauci, Dr. Brinks must be laughing out loudest in their heart after all today, this moment. Right? Yes, my dear fellow mankind, without that power, the Walmart cannot even generate your billing, and you cannot even swipe your credit card. So the card becomes invalid, it becomes a plastic mode, and all your laptops, all your computers, everything becomes a machine without power supply. And that's the deadliest crime that's going on the hierarchy level. Walmart never knew. For Walmart, they have to pay their utility bill and they get the power. We population never knew. We have to pay the utility bill and we get the power. Well, workplace, they never knew. They have to pay the bill and they have to get the power. They never knew it is Pope Francis who was throwing each and every single civilians in hell. Can you all see how innocent population, innocent operations became to look at mode fault, versus all the population were mandated to worship only Pope Francis, Queen Elizabeth II, all the Islam leaders as the gods? And how this moment I crashed all the skyscrapers in United Arab Emirates in Dubai. Oh yeah, they cannot. They have their death penalty on their spinal cord, means that the severity level of the death penalty. They cannot escape the death penalty. That's what the meaning of that kind of a death penalty. They can run around Mecca. They can even go figure out a hiding place in Mecca. They cannot. They can jump on the seas or the Red Seas or whatever seas to hide from death penalty that will be going to be provided from. They cannot run and hide. I rounded up all Islam nations with elephants and lions and all the wild animals. If they're going to run here and there, they all will be consumed by those wild animals. They cannot. They cannot run and escape from the death penalty. I'm going to sign up for them. They cannot even say a word. Oh, there is Quran. Oh, there is Torah. Oh, I tore Quran in pieces. I tore Torah in pieces. I tore Bhagavad Gita in pieces. Nobody will ask me why. I'm providing clue, right? Hint. You all figure out who am I. Why Judaism population are silent. Why India fears me. Why Islam leaders will die at the sound of I am that I am with heart attack. This is deadliest crime that's going on. This crime must be sealed and burnt in ashes. Pope Francis must be thrown immediately in the volcano. Right? Destroyed in pieces. He destroyed the lives of humans in pieces. These people, they will not live, and they will never, never, never allow population to live. Please listen to me, my dear fellow mankind. I can wish God's Holy Spirit talks to the USA government right now and help them to sign the job offer to me, because the crime is deadliest. I only can fix it. No other God. There is no one else there. There is no one else there. I'm going to reveal more, and you all will be shouting in happiest and shedding tears of joy. So that is a clue. That's all I can give for a clue for now. Because first I have to display all the crime, right? I already educated this in the Facebook, but it was in a silent mode. Now I'm talking. And I'm saying I kept the knife on the neck of Pope Francis, and I choked the throat of Pope Francis, the 84 plus years old Pope Francis. It's okay if people are going to accuse me and say that I'm rude. I will say, go refer Holy Bible. I'm providing all the civil law guidance according to the Holy Bible alignments only. This is how I fried criminal justice in ashes, isn't it? Can you all see? If criminal justice is healthiest, they should not even have provided the utility tax fraud to the population. It comes under the classification of Holocaust, Nazism, deadliest war crime type of classification. So that means this utility crime is a separate crime. Walmart is helpless mode on that end. Amazon is helpless mode on that end, right? Tax fraud. He created all this tax fraud in a spider web mode where nobody could able to figure out what exactly is the root cause for all this poverty creation. I cracked it down only because of God-given wisdom, nothing else, my dear fellow mankind. Only because of God-given wisdom. I will quickly read through this tax fraud. So, with that said, this ends the entire transaction of credit card processing, a loan processing, a debit card processing, a gift card processing. Got it? So it might look as a one swipe of the credit card or a debit card or a gift card or a check, right? But can you all see how much of labor, hard labor, provided the population, and everything went vain? That is why the software population will be super mad. You all need to know, right? Even if non-software world population also will be super mad. But at least the supermat will be less, because the workload is more for software world only, because without software all these transactions cannot be even done at the first place. And the huge chunk of validation of a gateway and checkpoint validations of the software is not even there. They have to create an algorithm. Logic means they have to break their brain in their desk when they start to write the raw software logic. And this, without knowing any of this kind of a labor cost, this selfish government professionals, every 4 years they will change the government according to their will and pleasures, and they will directly ask the software to change then they will be cursing in their heart only, and they will be working. Because survival mode everywhere, right? At what cost? At what cost? Now can you all see why Associated Bank is the happiest bank in whole entire human kingdom? Right? At the cost of getting laid off, I stood up and I displayed the error, right? At the cost of becoming poverty. I am today in poverty mode only, right? I do not have finance to use, right? When I am going to start using the retirement fund, I have to pay tax. I kept knife on the neck of Pope Francis, and the retirement fund reform will be immediately provided. Immediately, next second. I keep knife on the neck of Pope Francis, all the changes will be happening worldwide. I chopped the head of Queen Elizabeth II, and all the national governments will say they all will shut down their government operations, and they will ask, Vethapriya, you start lead, and we will listen to you, and we will do the task you are asking me. This is what everybody will do. Right? Yes, my dear fellow mankind, what would you all have done? What would you all have done? Okay. I, Vethapriya PROSE, proved the deadliest crime and displayed to all nations, an entire human kingdom. I, Vethapriya PROSE, is excellent layman, true civil doctor that can provide fastest open bypass surgery for eyes, heart, brain for 7.9 plus billions of humans same time. If the power is not there, then pornography will not be there. If power is not there, there will not be any prostitution facility. If power is not there, there will not be Las Vegas. If power is not there, there will not be any sexting messages. If there is not if power is not there, the utility is not there, then people will not be mocking at each other, abusing the internet services. If power is not there, then people will not be uploading nudity of a fellow mankind and tearing them pieces in pieces. If power is not there, then people will not be mocking or bullying or body shaming each other. Right? Power supply. Power supply. Right? I can ask for civil justice to burn all the power supplies worldwide in ashes now and let it be dark. Let all the nations go dark and live with a candle for a while. Let it be for a while. Right? Let all the people live with a candle alone. And with the candle, let them work out how they can provide a stove top to cook food with a candle. Right? Do you all think, should I have to go to that extreme for a discipline when I have to provide as a medical chief doctor discipline process? No, right? That's not how it should be. Population should live their way in happy mode. Government should provide their services in happy mode. This is how a nation should be. But it's not like that. For how long the people have to undergo this kind of a torture? And I broke the world record for providing divine healing fastest than any robo. And why robots worldwide fears me. Now you all got it, right? Why robots fears me? Why laptops, why iPads, why phones, why smartphones, why iWatch, everything fears me? This is how it should be. Robots should fear humans. Humans should never fear robots. I educated that wisdom. First time, Apple, Google, Microsoft, Facebook, they all got slapped on their face. Because people were running too much towards that robo, artificial intelligence, face identification, what not for a crap. Why people even need to have that face identification to identify a person? People were living without the face identification only long time back. Happy mode, right? Why? Because this Pope Francis created that kind of a crowd. So that means a civilian is being watched by this USA government that is coming under the deadliest crime of war crime, Holocaust Nazism. So I kept a knife on the Pope Francis and I nailed on the forehead of Pope Francis, and the smoke is coming out of the Pope Francis ears when people are singing Merry Christmas carols and celebrating festival of true love one side. It's a multitasking, isn't it? It's a multitasking. The deadliest crime. If there is never power, then they would not have provided any foreclosure or rental eviction or collection agency crap or FICO score crap, right? As if this crime is not enough, why on the earth they want to create an artificial Facebook all in jail only? Artificial intelligence, and they want to have that face recognition, identification. Why they want to create that hell for the population? Who are they? Who gave that authority to the Facebook? Or who gave that authority to Microsoft? Who gave that authority to the Apple? Who gave that authority to the Google? To data breach. Taking the face identification recognition is a data breach. That's a $1 trillion crime. I can ask USA to provide at least $500 trillion tax-free to each civilian for Facebook-created face identification program, for Apple-created face identification program, all in the name of prostitution, right? You all got it, right? How even when a super frustrated and super angry mood, I am able to talk without using curse words because I worked on it, my dear fellow mankind. I'm still working on it because it takes a lot of patience, it takes a lot of working practice, right? When I can easily accuse with whatever accusing words, right? I am the only one who is eligible to accuse. I am the only one who is eligible to be offended. Nobody can dare to say they get offended with my wisdom education. Because the moment everybody yielded to sexual immorality, they lost all kinds of eligibility. Right? I already said I can order all the 7.9 billions of humans to get out of the earth for yielded to sexual immorality. And I can ask some to live. Right? Because I know what is civil law. Nobody in the earth called us humans, nobody in the educated humans in the human kingdom knows what is civil law. Everybody knows only criminal law. Criminal law only signs injustice. That is why DOG of State of Wisconsin is in the jail right now. They are handcuffed. They are handcuffed and mandated to kneel down right before 7.9 billions of humans. They are going to die out of the stress forever, and I'm helpless on that end because I was only working on preventing that. I know they will be dying out of stress because the moment they're going to sign injustice for innocent, it is always the judge, the lawyers who sign injustice will die out of stress, out of entire human population. Even doctors will walk away free killing a patient. Even a teacher can walk away free killing a student. Even an engineer can walk away free creating a damage to the dam or the bridges and walk away free. It is always the judge and the lawyers will die out of the stress the moment they sign injustice for an innocent. They signed it anyways. I prevented that only. That is what vices will do. When people are throwing acid, the vices will stand up and will say, please, 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 please don't throw acid on me. See, if you're going to throw acid on me, it will create scars on my face, and the other people, the educated people, the society will mock me. So that will create more emotional pain. Please, 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 you're all humans only, right? Please don't throw acid. Nobody listened. They just threw acid on my face. So that means these abusive people are foolish people. They will not even know what is human, right? So I have to step in and slap them all and have to educate what is human at the first place. That way, they will not even dare to throw that acid on any of the civilians. I'm standing right in front of 7.9 plus billions, means Pope Francis have to first kill me. He has to first kill me to even work on providing more tax fraud for any of the civilians. I heard in the news that President Joe Biden is working on more tax process. Oh, he's getting the curse. Already Dr. Fauci and Dr. Brinks is in the hot oil. Does he want more curse? Does he want more curse? You all work on it. He's going to destroy, my dear fellow mankind. He's going to tear down and drink the blood of 300 millions of humans' blood. President Joe Biden is going to drink in this tax fraud crime. He's a prostitute to Queen Elizabeth II and Pope Francis. Don't you all think that crime should be stopped by me immediately? Immediately means emergency mode, right? Paramedic mode, paramedic Medicare mode, first responder mode. When nation is crisis, nobody stood up and educated this kind of wisdom. When there is no power, there is no movies. When there is no power, then the Hollywood movies will not create any pornography, James Bond movies, isn't it? So when they don't know what is to be human, then I have to provide the discipline my way, isn't it? People should know what is the utility, what labor is provided in that. How much of strangers providing their labor, right? The Hollywood, they don't know. They don't know how much of construction workers, they sweat their blood on the road on a sunny day. Even during the snows days, they work on the road. Why? For all of us to get the power supply. And the engineers have to design that networking. If they're going to go wrong in that electricity design zoning process, then that creates a havoc. How much of labor is going on just with one swipe of the credit card alone? People should know, isn't it? For I display Deadliest war crime classification of finance debt, foreclosure, and rental eviction, collection agency, national patients account services, scandal, no power, no hospital. No power, no cancer treatment. No power, no ultrascan. No power, no test labs. I can freeze all nations with one power shutdown, right? For COVID-19 scam that Dr. Fauci, Dr. Brinks created, I can ask for a civil justice. For one day, let all the nations go dark. Shut down the power. Let all be in the hibernate mode and enjoy the darkness for the first time. Taste that darkness for the first time. Then they will understand what type of crime that Dr. Fauci, Dr. Brinks provided. People will go mad. Amazon will say no. Because when that 24 hours time of business is lost, then their stock exchange and bondings in the stock exchange will be lost. He will die out of heart attack after all. Right? The hospital, the St. Jude's and St. Mary's Hospital will say, oh no, the patients will die. We are in the middle of the surgery, providing open bypass surgery. When the power is gone, then the hospital needs to be shut down because the heart surgery cannot be provided, right? Can you all see how all this crime, and he created helpless mode? He's a prostitute, my dear fellow mankind, and I'm a true woman. That is why I kept knife on the neck of Pope Francis. And I chopped the head of Queen Elizabeth II. Nobody will dare to ask me why. No. Because it is clearly written. And one more thing. Babylonians, the non-Christians, are very much, very much, very much aware of the wrath of the true God of true Christianity. Oh, yeah. You go refer Holy Bible for that. On highest level, how true God of true Christianity provided 7 plagues in the Egypt when the Egypt empire never allowed Israelites to be freed when Moses was interacting with them. He was treated as trash by the Egypt empire. On the other side, the Babylonians knows the true Israel Jew only can be an excellent governance provider. There was another Jew with a lot of brothers. He was born in that family, and they were jealous of him because their dad always provided a favoritism only to that son, Joseph. They could not take that. So that as a hidden Morse code message. A true parenting, they will never provide favoritism. That's a true message out of that. That happened. That's an incident that really happened. It's not a fictional one. It really happened. How parenting provides favoritism can create jealous among the siblings who are always lovable only forever, right? The blood is thicker than water. That's what they say for when it comes to the sibling love, right? So they sold that brother, own sibling, in slavery. So that's coming pattern. Can you see how that Queen Elizabeth II also provided slavery for African to be sold in slaves? So it's been there. That it's whatever incident happened in Holy Bible, it's a live incident, and people witnessed it. People witnessed it worldwide. How the true Israelite Jews was always prosecuted. And there's one more hidden puzzle behind that. Whenever a true wisest person stands up for always wisdom, this is how the prosecution will be provided even on the household levels. That is another hidden message right there. So the siblings sold their own sibling, the loving sibling, with the foolishness into slavery. And they said to their dad that he got killed. But they never knew what happened next. That changed everything. Right? That changed everything. Do you all know what happened next? The person who took him, the Joseph, as a slavery, they never killed him. On the other side, the own family, the brothers and their parents, they were thinking that the sibling and the son is killed. But here, on the other side, he's not killed. With looking at his wisdom, looking at his highest standard of living, he was given to lead the Egypt empire. Morse code, there's a Morse code right there. It's a defense Morse code. Only true Israelite can crack that Morse code. For human eyes, oh, okay, he became empire of Egypt, king of Egypt. No, there's more hidden person there. The landmass where his siblings and his parents were living became famine mode. Famine means no food to eat. And today, Sudan is like that. When Dr. Fauci created COVID-19, they should have at least considered that nation, right? Sudan is in famine mode as of today. So that's a live example. So all the incidents happened. So when they're famine mode, the nations will say, okay, we'll adopt you. Now come to our nation. We'll try to feed you. And then those families, the siblings, the whole parents, they all were standing in the queue to get that food from the king of Egypt. One by one, one by one, one by one got the national benefit. Then came the siblings and their parents. They never recognized him, but their sibling recognized them. Morse code, hidden Morse code. How the wisest, the leader, the qualities, the attributes, the personalities of a wisest man will always be displayed up front, even at the extreme frustration mode, how it is displayed. When they all come and ask for the food, the national benefit program, he, the king, he who was sold a slave by their own family members, right? Because out of jealous and because out of prostitution, right? The prostitution means what here? Fooling, right? They fooled that innocent man Joseph, and they sold him out of slavery. And they even wanted him to be killed, and they thought he was killed, but he was not killed. That is a hidden puzzle, why God's children will be always protected in the God's firewall. Hidden puzzle. People never got it, right? Yes, he was sold into slavery. Yes, he was undergoing through a lot of trials and tribulations because he was in slavery. But how all the time God was with that Joseph and holding him with the firewall, and nothing impacted him, isn't it? Yes, he got his scars on his face. He was thrown with acid by his own family members, right? He never knew. See, he provided cleanest love to his own parents and own siblings. From his end, he provided only clean love. He provided the blindest faith, blindest trust, blindest belief. It is that's why when the people yield to sexual immorality, it comes into that prostitution way of mode, and that is the indirect message, right? In that story, means the real lifetime story that happened. It's not a fictional story. It's not a movie or a documentary. It happened for real. So how much of blindest faith, how much of blindest trust, how much of blindest belief he must have put for his siblings and his parents who only backstabbed him and sold him as slavery and killed him, right? That's a lot of emotional handling right there. Only wisest people can understand, foolish people cannot. And that is a live example how abusive people can even live free. So they were living free as if nothing happened, isn't it? All the siblings who sold Joseph into slavery, they were all living free only, as if nothing happened. Because they all thought that nothing, they can live free, there's no God, injustice already provided, who cares more? At least the jealous sibling is thrown in slavery and got killed, so who cares more? Then they were all living. So this is a live testimony, a behavioral pattern, how and why the abusive patients can even live free, right? How right now, it's not then, it's even happening right now, right? President Trump, Brett Kavanaugh, and Mitch McConnell must be the sons of their families only, right? Even before remove all the republicanism, democratism, leadership, whatever, there must be sons of their families only. And they threw acid on me, right? And they're still living happily, as if nothing happened. This is, and people were getting confused, how abusive people can live free. Live free means as if nothing happened, they will be living, right? Moving on. But it is because their brain is in a disordered mode, malfunction mode. Okay, so then how he handled his anger? How much of anger he must have got, isn't it? Right? That Joseph, when he's seeing his own siblings and parents asking for the food, uh, it's almost like begging food to his siblings, right? How much of emotions he must have handled at that particular 1 second alone. You all work on. What would you all have done if you all were Joseph and sold into slavery by your own siblings, loving siblings, and by your own parents? What would you all have done? My dear fellow mankind, you all work on that answer. I leave that answer of choice to yours. You all should work out and please provide correct answer. Right? How much of emotions he must have been going through it. He cannot talk out loud, he cannot chew, you have to chew that emotions. Oh, that is a lot of torture, isn't it? One side, how much of injustice, the life, the precious engage, life, everything stripped out by force, right? And he never begged. He never begged his siblings to, dear siblings, you're so loving to me. Oh, that is too much of torture for me. Please, 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 sell me as a slave. He never begged. He never begged to his parent, his dad, to provide a favoritism to him, right? He never begged. So how a human actions can go wrong and how that can impact the emotional brains of innocent children and how the siblings can become rivals, right? Worldwide it's same. Worldwide it's same. Right. The siblings rivalry, it's all created out of jealous. 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 Right. So how he handled that anger? What would you all have done if you're in that moment when you all became sold as slaves to Egypt empire and you all became kings and your own siblings who sold you as slavery, your own family members who sold you as slavery are coming and begging for food and you are the king of the Egypt empire and they don't even recognize you. Because once the brain is in that mode, died mode, the brain will not even have a clue to think of, oh, is he living like that and analyze and like that. Because the years will be past, the physical changes will be there, right? What would I have done, my dear fellow mankind? Everybody has that same emotional anger only, right? If I slap on your face, you will get anger. If you're going to slap on my face, I'll get anger. It's a normal human operation, isn't it? So what would you all have done at that moment? It's only 1 second and multi-emotional torture that Joseph had to undergo through, right? It happened. It really happened. But he handled it in a healthy way only with the God-given strength. That is the wisdom and the moral of that real life event happened there. He handled it. He handled it in a healthy way. He handled it with the God-given strength only. He was able to hug those siblings who threw him in the slavery. When he could have very well asked all the siblings and the parents to be thrown in the jail or gas chamber because those were the corporate national punishment given to the civilians. Egyptian empire is Roman empire, right? He could have very well assigned that for his own parents, his own siblings, isn't it? With God-given strength, when all the acid and when all the scars mandated on Joseph's face, it is he chose wisest choice always. And that is a hidden puzzle of what? A true Israelite tribe, Christian Jew of Israel, Judah's first attribute is they can never hurt fellow mankind. And these foolish people, they know that. That is why they take that cleanest heart for granted. So that's not a fictional story. It really happened, right? People witnessed it. What would you all have done? If you all were thrown in slavery by your own parents, by your own siblings, when you provided blindest faith, blindest trust, blindest belief on them, when you all provided cleanest love to them, what would you all have done? It is, after all, a backstabbing mode, right? Tearing down the blindest faith, the trust, the belief in pieces more. It's a lot of emotional there. Emotional pain inflicted on the brain nerve cells of the Joseph there, right? So people never educated that real-time incident in the rightful way to the population. Rather, all these false Christian evangelists were cooking up more extra, less extra here and there, according to wills and pleasures, adding more, adding less, like that, and they were confusing the human brains worldwide in the Christian population. They never got the correct message, right? Always highest standard of living is always true Israel tribe, Christian Jew of Israel, Judah. They stand out in the crowd. They stand out in the crowd. At the cost of that, they can never yield to sexual immorality. They will die only for true God. If the national governments are going to chop that Israelite tribe, Christian Jew in pieces and ask them to yield to sexual immorality, they cannot. Impossible. The brain nerves, their human cells are only fear true God. They just cannot. They just cannot yield to sexual immorality. They just cannot. And that story continues with one of the incident wherein the royal king's wife wanted to have sex with Joseph, and he never yielded. The attribute, the highest standard of living, right? And people always will have that, why everything wrongful or unfortunate happening always to the good people, right? Now tell me, in this whole entire incident, Joseph is innocent man, right? Innocent. And all he provided was clean love. He provided blindest faith and blindest trust and blindest belief to his own loving siblings, right? And own blindest faith and trust to his own dad and mom, right? If the parents provided the favoritism to that child, that is not his problem. It is the parenting problem, right? A prostitute or the people yielded to sexual immorality only will provide favoritism, impartiality it's called. And I already said how it is there in household level worldwide. If you're going to ask President Trump if he's having siblings, he's going to say that. Is Mitch McConnell or Brett Kavanaugh, if they are going to have siblings, they are going to say that. It's normal everywhere. Meaning, it should not be even there, but I'm saying when it's normal means, I cannot figure out, it's a norm in every household to provide that kind of a discrimination, even in the household level. And the parents and the grandparents and the elders, the uncles and aunts, they don't even realize how much of emotional torture the siblings will undergo because of that kind of a discrimination, right? They have to handle it, deal with it. Yes, my dear fellow mankind, the power supply. So there should not be any air pollution here. There should not be any global warming here, right? So this utility tax fraud is the deadliest crime. I kept knife on the neck of Pope Francis. Nobody will dare to ask me why. That is one of the incident. It happened. Selling people to the slavery. It's happening worldwide, in the household level, worldwide, government level, friends level, relatives level, siblings level, families level. How much of those blindest faith all get destroyed in pieces, right? Then how to build over that broken trust and faith and belief, it's another emotional process. That needs to be a healing time, right? How some people cannot be healed from that and they die out of that mental stress alone. Because there is no medication drug to cure that kind of emotional torture. I already said, rehabilitations cannot cure it. Doctors are fooling population after all. They prescribe anti-depression drugs. That's what it's called, right? That is another garbage, and that's another tax fraud to destroy the human brains more. How many people without any awareness got that anti-depression drugs and got more depression, right? And how much of those medical drugs created self-infliction and suicide worldwide, either in entertainment world, either in workplace world, either in education world, either in household world, either in families, whatnot. For how long these torture we all can tolerate? You all tell me. For how long? 500 long years passed. The year is 2021. Even now, how many people are suiciding and must be dying, right? Self-infliction. Self-infliction. One side innocence, one side how Pope Francis made all the people to self-inflict and die. Torture, right? When people are going to foreclosure process, how many people die out of suicide? When rental eviction, how many people die out of suicide? When collection agencies provides that torture, how many people die out of suicide? Pushing civilians to the edge, right? Pushing civilians to the edge in different forms and avatars. Everything traces to Pope Francis, and I kept the knife on the neck of the Pope Francis. I choked his neck. I think there was one movie. Who's that actor? Denzel Washington. Hurricane also, he only acted. It's all about he will have his son. I forgot, but it's very vaguely I'm remembering. Whatever I'm remembering, I will tell you for education. He will have his son, and medical doctors, he'll be very much ill. He needed immediate surgery to cure. Okay, I don't know whether it is a cancer or whatever, but something of ill only. And he will go and beg and beg and beg and beg and beg forever in the in the hands and the legs of the doctors. They will reject. They will not provide him any medical services. Then he will keep knife on the neck of the doctors, and the doctors will provide the surgery for his son. And this is a vague remembrance of that movie. I don't know. Is it John Q or what? I don't know. I'm not clearly remembering that. It's been very, 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 very long time I saw that movie. Do you think, is this how this operation should be happening? No, right? That's my dear fellow mankind. Pope Francis asked all the St. Mary's Hospital, St. Jude's Hospital to reject medical services for African Americans. State of Maryland, it had the law. They had that law up front. And what made me to crack down on the crime? Roman Province Jesuits organization is one of the state is state of Maryland. One of the state is state of Maryland. And that state is also called Maryland. It's named after Queen Elizabeth II. So wherever you're going to see Saint Mary's or Mary or Ave Maria or Salve Regina, Hail Holy Queen or whatever, it's all only Queen Elizabeth II. People never got it. Because Statue of Liberty is there. People never even knew that statue is modeled after Queen Elizabeth II until I educated. Mary Land. Maryland. 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 And then the York, it's called as New York, right? It is named after the Lord York of British. And now you all got it. Why Thomas Jefferson, the prostitute, was prostituting with Queen Elizabeth II. Why population never got to know why that Thomas Jefferson, the prostitute, the late president, is a prostitute. Deadliest prostitute, right? When that task and everything was provided by York, the African American, the true owner of USA. Even after providing that hardest labor, he was held as slave by the Lewis and Clark for 12 years or something like that, is my understanding. This is how they'll tear down the human cells of African Americans. Even if they want to live, they can live only when their lives are destroyed. They get all the medical compensation late only by the USA government. But then all this Islam, Judaism, they have the Christian names, they address themselves as Jews, they will get all the medical compensation from the Holocaust survivors, what not. Then peace war, they get medical aid from that as well. Peace war means what? Israel, Gaza, Palestine war, Syria war. So USA were thinking they are the Christians, because they are addressing themselves Jews. But Pope mandated that. He is the one who created Judaism. He is the one who created Zionism to adulterate and override the innocent brains of the population to be stamped as Judaism. The population never knows. That is why the population are silent now, because they are happiest in their heart because they know who I am. I provided a clue. I tore the national flag of fake Israel, the Netanyahu will be thrown in a volcano, right? That is a clue. That's all for who I am. So all male genders, if they are caregivers, if Pope Francis is a caregiver, he's a God. Okay, beyond God, he's a male. He's having sperm, he's a baby maker, he's jumped from heaven, so God. So when he's a God, then he's a caregiver. Then he should have educated USA to provide free utility for the population, isn't it? He failed. And it's a tax fraud, right? What is the difference between Pope Francis versus entire male population? That's one difference, that's all. And that difference made Pope Francis to destroy the earth. He destroyed the earth, and that's a crime. He should be thrown in hell only for destroying the earth. Who is he to destroy the earth? That rightful belongs to me. I own the earth. I own the dust particle in the earth. Who is he to destroy that? Who is he to create the air pollution? Who is Pope Francis to create the global warming? Who is Pope Francis to create all the tsunami and wildfires and flood and rain? What not for the natural disasters worldwide? Who is he? I have all the proof. It is he only who created all this. So you all don't have to fear about that. I have proof for this, proof for that, proof of everything. Proof of everything, for everything. So this session I have to educate you all, right? Without power supply, people cannot even swipe the credit card to get a grocery of basic essential. Even without power supply, your banking sectors can not even give you the credit card or a debit card to you. Power supply. How much of tax fraud is gone into that power supply alone? How much of transactions have to be done just with the swipe of the credit card alone? We population are laymen, we never knew. Worldwide, whenever people are entering into the grocery store, they swipe the credit card, that's all. And they get the grocery items. The brain will not even get to think. Sit and think how everything happens, right? I educated everything. They threw acid on me. They threw acid on me. Always this Babylonians is aware, a true Israel will be the wisest and excellent judge, outstanding judge. And always, even in the Babylonian, Egyptian empire, Persian empire, whenever they enslaved the Israel nations, they will choose the wisest Israelite and will have them a leader of that nation. It is a track record, my dear fellow mankind. It's not a fictional. Everybody knows that. Worldwide knows that. So it's not a joke here that I'm talking about. All male genders in all nations only created poverty, finance debt, foreclosure, and rental eviction collection. NPAS means National Patients Account Services Agency, tax fraud, and Consumer Finance Protection Bureau Agency tax fraud crime, and Internet tax fraud crime, and utility tax fraud crime. If they are having only sperms and if they are the God baby creators, then they should have provided healthy guidelines, isn't it? Pope Francis should have provided healthy guidelines. You all work on if Pope Francis is a man or is he a woman or is he a transgender or is he a LGBTQP. And what answer he is going to say, whether he loved a woman or whether he never loved a woman. You all work on it. I kept the knife on his neck and I choked his throat. Means what? Any moment he will resign and get out of the Vatican and be gone in ashes and volcano. Right? So I, Vethapriya PROSE, proved males can never be caregivers. And Queen Elizabeth II only created poverty, finance debt, foreclosures and rental eviction and FICO score scandal and collection agencies scandal and National Patients Account Services Agency tax fraud and Consumer Finance Protection Bureau tax fraud of poverty mandate and National Patients Account Services tax fraud, Patients Account Services tax fraud crime, Internet tax fraud crime and utility tax fraud crime. So I, Vethapriya PROSE, proved there are never women in total women population in earth is evil prostitutes worldwide. In earth is evil prostitutes worldwide. So I, Vethapriya PROSE, true womb of a man, a woman should be Vatican leader, now is civil justice served as in Holy Bible guidelines. Right? Can you all imagine, can you all understand why I am in very much a need that USA must sign the job offer immediately, because I only can provide all the bailout, right? Utility must already in jail. Because no power, no surgery can be even provided in the St. Mary's Hospital that is created by Pope Francis. And we are all in the helpless mode, right? It's all created by Pope Francis. Tax fraud created by Pope Francis. Holy marriage destruction created by Pope Francis. Emotional destruction created by Pope Francis. What not? He created everything. War crimes, war equipments, military abuse, everything. Agriculture abuse, genetic modified food, Charles Darwin theory abuse, what not. So, here you go. I keep one more question for your side. You all work on it. I want only correct answer. Do not discuss with any of your peers. It is the easiest question after all. Who created utility tax fraud? Is it God of true Christianity? If yes, why? If no, why? I, Vethapriya PROSE, proved the deadliest crime. So, the first quarter of 2021, President Joe Biden must get out of the White House because he provided utility tax fraud. No excuse, right? So deadliest crime, at fault found guilty, Republican government and Democrat government and absolute monarchs, Antichrist, Queen Elizabeth II and Pope Francis created utility tax fraud crime worldwide. Antichrist Pope Francis created utility tax fraud that directly hits into the loans tax fraud, credit tax fraud, debit tax fraud, gift card tax fraud crime is utility proved by I Vethapriya PROSE. Antichrist Queen Elizabeth II created utility tax fraud that directly hits onto the loans tax fraud, credit card tax fraud, debit tax fraud, gift card tax fraud. Crime is proved by I Vethapriya PROSE. You all know already she is stealing the rightful Atlantic Ocean power energy and providing electricity for each and every single household in London. She's handcuffed mode, isn't it? And I chopped the head of Queen Elizabeth II. Nobody will ask me why. When she is stealing the rightful power currency of the Atlantic Ocean that rightful belongs to the African, Nigeria or Sierra Leone or Congo and made them go dark, I can ask the same tit for tat right now. I can ask United Federal Government to shut down the power in the London. Right? I can. But then, can you see how this crime is created and how dependent mode people become and how helpless mode? So, I am empath, extra empath. I know the population in London are innocent. So there you go. I can ask, shut down the power from the Buckingham Palace and all the palaces wherever Queen Elizabeth is living, just shut down the power. USA can do that and throw her out on the road. Throw Queen Elizabeth on the road. And I chopped the head of the Queen Elizabeth one side, and federal government can throw her on the road or on the volcano in Hawaii immediately. Right? Nobody will ask me why. For I Vethapriya PROSE proved scandal of absolute monarchs and proved Pope Francis is Roman Empire King Herod as of February 2021. Any salary, as in tax-free billions of dollars, USA government can provide effective immediate using direct deposit to my bank account to I am Vethapriya PROSE, native Indian tribe, Israelite tribe, Christian Jew of Israel, Judah, Jerusalem, true owner of all nations-wide, can help me. So scandal phases of Republican Europe nations worldwide. Republica at fault found guilty. Prostitutes of Europe, USA tax fraud. March 2021 is proved. At fault found guilty of fatal negligence, utility tax fraud, loans credit tax fraud, credit tax fraud, debit tax fraud, gift card tax fraud, crime provided. Tax fraud is crime is proved by I Vethapriya PROSE. At fault found guilty of fatal negligence, USA Republican government provided tax fraud is crime is proved by I Vethapriya PROSE. At fault found guilty of fatal negligence, USA Democrat government provided tax fraud is crime is proved by I Vethapriya PROSE. At fault found guilty of fatal negligence, Queen Elizabeth II provided tax fraud is proved by I Vethapriya PROSE. At fault found guilty of fatal negligence, Pope Francis provided tax fraud is crime is proved by I Vethapriya PROSE. At fault found guilty of fatal negligence, GOP Mitch McConnell provided tax fraud is crime is proved by I Vethapriya PROSE. At fault found guilty of fatal negligence, President Trump of 2016 to 2020 and President Joe Biden 2020 to 2024 and state governors of 50 states of USA provided tax fraud is crime is proved by I Vethapriya PROSE. At fault found guilty of fatal negligence, Supreme Court Judge Brett Kavanaugh provided tax fraud is crime is proved by I Vethapriya PROSE. At fault found guilty of fatal negligence, Roman Province Justice Organization, State of Wisconsin, State of Michigan, State of Illinois, State of New York, State of New England, State of Maryland, State of Louisiana, State of Missouri, State of California, State of Oregon provided tax fraud is crime is proved by I Vethapriya PROSE. Queen Elizabeth II and Pope Francis and utility loans tax fraud, credit tax fraud, gift card tax fraud, debit card tax fraud, created robocall poverty mandate, enforced poverty disabled to I Vethapriya PROSE in October 2018 is proved. For prostitute Republican government of USA to steal the rightful Supreme Court judge job of USA on 2018 that rightful belongs to I Vethapriya PROSE. Civil justice, civil law must be provided now without delay. I, Vethapriya, PROSE, true civil lawyer, true civil doctor, true civil supreme judge, own the text for ongoing civil justice sign-off, had found guilty of fatal negligence, USA Republican government and USA Democrat government as in Queen Elizabeth II and Pope Francis, utility tax fraud, loans tax fraud, credit tax fraud, debit tax fraud, gift card tax fraud, created robocall poverty mandate to I, Vethapriya, PROSE, true civil lawyer, true civil doctor, true civil supreme judge, and Republican government, GOP leader, Mitch McConnell, President Trump, Supreme Court Judge Brett Kavanaugh in October 2018 enforced poverty mandate to I, Vethapriya, PROSE abruptly on October 2018, and Republican government of United States of America took away $4,500 on October 2018 abruptly and enforced fine as debt of $10,000 plus dollars since October 2018, October 2019, October 2020, and as of January 2021, February 2021, March 2021, I, Vethapriya, PROSE enforced PROSE, and also they enforced finance disability to I, Vethapriya, PROSE abruptly. It is a crime for at fault found guilty of fatal negligence, US Republican government and US Democrat government and Queen Elizabeth II, Pope Francis, and utility tax fraud, robocall poverty mandate is proved, and so civil justices I, Vethapriya, PROSE want Citibank CEO to pay off my debt $10,000 plus dollars and sign off tax-free $5,000 and at fault and found guilty of fatal negligence, US Republican government, US Democrat government, Queen Elizabeth II, Pope Francis, and utility tax fraud, loans tax fraud, credit tax fraud, debit tax fraud, gift card tax fraud, crime created robocall poverty mandate with fatal negligence, so must sign off tax-free $1,500,000 trillion to be direct deposited to my bank account for all types of damages done by selfish cunning, Islam, Judaism, absolute monarchs types, wild endangered species, and hell creators, and at fault and found guilty, Holy Highness God of USA, Queen Elizabeth II, Pope Francis, and Republican government of USA will provide the needful help accordingly to be in the same page. Yes, my dear fellow mankind, that is, the utility tax fraud is the highest level of tax fraud USA provided with deadliest fatal negligence and got the deadliest crime count of Vatican. That's an innocence, but because USA government never knows that. But President Joe Biden is not innocent and must resign immediately now. Immediately means that the crime is so, more crime is on the queue. And he cannot even, he'll faint and pass out. He will die out of heart attack. Because he's a lawyer, he failed in all this processing, right? He cannot give an excuse to the population. I, in fact, mandated President Joe Biden to kneel down in front of 7.9 plus billions of humans. He has to resign. The crime is deadliest. No excuse here. Thank you all for your time, and always be aware, civil justice wins, and I am providing civil justice according to the Holy Bible law guidelines only. So nobody have to fear here, right? When the discipline is provided, it must be provided rightful way. All our basic birthrights, the consumer birthrights have been destroyed, stripped off by force, right? Destroyed. Holy marriage is destroyed. That must be fixed. Without fixing that, a nation must not even move forward in providing any of the operation. Just stop it. Stop that nonsense, right? Don't fool the population anymore. And President Joe Biden is not getting that message. And this is what the foolish will do. President Trump got the message, but he became helpless mode because the Republican government organization structured itself as a prostitution organization. I displayed everything with the proof, isn't it? So yes, God is always God. Why God is always God? Why God is always in control? Why? Why? How? You all keep working on, and don't forget to work on who am I, okay? Thank you all for your time. Take care. Bye for now.